Aloha and welcome back. This is part 2 of my program produced for Press TV a couple of years back regarding the BBC and their criminal conspiracy to cover up those responsible for the 9/11 false flag event. Of course, those of you who know me know damn well where I stand with regard to that. Any of us who are serious about 9/11 truth know damn well that Israeli Mossad's fingerprints are all over the event, including the Jewish billionaires Frank Lowy and Larry Silverstein, who bought the buildings so that they could have full access and allow Israeli Mossad agents into the building and do what needed to be done in order to bring the building down, along with traitors in the U.S. government and military, including so-called dual nationals. These are the responsible parties for 9/11 and the destruction of property by Michael Chertoff, another dual national, Jewish supremacist, probably Talmudic, pedophile, bankster, cultist himself. This man is criminally responsible for covering up the crimes of 9/11 by destroying evidence which was essential to a legitimate investigation. Again, Michael Chertoff, Frank Lowy, Larry Silverstein, and many others are the key players, again, along with traitors in the U.S. military and government, many of whom are still very much there pulling the strings or even in the public eye to some degree. This is the reality of 9/11, and you know, thankfully more and more people are seeing the obvious, and I'm happy and very proud of the fact that so many more people, especially a lot of younger people with new channels, are getting up and saying what needs to be said. Speaking truth about those in power, the truths that you speak, which inevitably lead to problems for you. If you have a YouTube channel, many of you know, recently there has been a spate, a real increase in the shutting down of YouTube channels. This agenda is only going to continue further, I'm quite sure of it, but this is a good thing, in my opinion. In fact, I've had a community guidelines strike, as I've had in the past. My record was clean after, you know, I don't produce that many videos, but, you know, so when I get a strike, eventually the strike goes away. I had 0 strikes, but last week I got a strike for a video I produced 6 years ago regarding Sandy Hook, which leads us to another subject. The obvious agenda of taking the guns away from U.S. citizens. I really want to appeal to those of you on the so-called left, the liberal-leaning circles, including many of you who appreciate my work and whom respect me and whom I respect you conversely on most every issue, or many issues, let's say. Do you not know that there is an agenda to take away the guns from the American citizens? I hope you at least know that. There is this agenda, and those in power are orchestrating the agenda. Now, you may think that that's purely for public safety, but again, I wonder, what is your thinking here? And how is it possible that you genuinely believe that in these times where the U.S. government increasingly around the world is seen for what it is, irrational at best, extremely dangerous for sure, and completely tyrannical in every way, why would you allow such an entity to take away more power from the people in order to give itself even greater power? Whether you hate, love the Second Amendment or not, can you at least not see that having heavily armed police, military, intelligence services, and all of the other institutions of power, having all of these institutions heavily armed, already corrupted as they are, and committing mass murder on so many different levels around the world, why would you want to give a government of that stature even more power? And worse yet, at the expense of taking away what few rights and power remains for the American people. I don't understand this. And are you also completely unaware of how false flag events, i.e. events that are carried out in order to be blamed on a certain individual or a certain country or a certain group in order to push through an agenda? How many of you on the lefty liberal circles, in those circles, how many of you are unaware of false flags and how they work? Seriously, do you not understand how this works? Because if you understand that, then you will know that any event of any significant nature, especially so-called quote-unquote terrorism, almost always not always, but almost always, in one way or another, is being carried out by the same powers that be that also claim to have a solution for us. And in this case, it's to take away the guns, of course, step by step. And assault rifles don't really have much use in a normal civilian circumstances. But if you were facing armed ATF agents or police, or, you know, trying to live your life in peace and find yourself needing to defend yourself, which I hope none of us ever has to do, but to ignore that possibility exists, to me seems delusional at best. And I say this not as a lover of guns. I'm really not. I look forward to a world in which really, literally, there'll be no need for any such weapons. I mean, the fact that we spend so much time and energy developing weapons and allowing this as people, never-ending streams of new weapons of mass destruction and, you know, hundreds of millions of firearms and all this kind of stuff. Clearly a better world will not entail that. But let's be serious here. There's an agenda to take away the guns from the American people, and those guns can and will be used by American patriots who will not lie down and bow when this tyrannical government just completely and totally reveals itself to the American people. Does it really need to reach the absolute crisis level before you realize that? How much more tyrannical does the U.S. government need to be before you say, I'm not going to participate in the relinquishment of any more power, concede any more power to this government? At what point do you say that? Are you waiting for Obama to come back or something? The guy who didn't shut down Guantanamo Bay, who didn't get us out of Iraq, who lied over and over and said he was going to get rid of nuclear weapons too? What are you waiting for? I don't understand. I'm kind of baffled by that. Again, I say that not as a gun lover. Now, getting back to the YouTube thing, I've had my first strike. I imagine that they're going to shut down my channel. We'll see. We'll see. You know, but this strike for a YouTube video I produced 6 years ago regarding Sandy Hook, which, by the way, had some really good information about the gun agenda, taking the guns away. So it makes sense that they would have come after that video. It's now gone, and I've lost it, actually. I didn't have a record of that, but I took down all of my other videos, so I have them. I'm going to be putting all of my YouTube videos. I'll edit out a few that weren't all that great, but all of my best videos I'm going to be putting on DTube. So please go to DTube, register, and become a viewer over there, because if my channel does get shut down, well, there you go. You'll be able to have access there, and I'll continue to produce new content in that forum. Also Vimeo, but DTube is where I'm going to give it a shot for now. Also, I encourage all of you to please download my videos while they're there on YouTube. Just do it. Have them on your hard drive, and when my channel, if my channel gets shut down, post them. You know, if I'm not able to do it, then post them. There's already so many videos out there. It makes any kind of attack on me or any other right-thinking, forward-thinking person makes it difficult. We can turn their negative actions into positives for us. So I'm ready to embrace that. I'm ready to embrace my YouTube channel being shut down. If indeed that's what needs to happen for me to speak the truth, no problem. That's a price I'm willing to pay. And I'll move forward in the most intelligent way possible. So with your help, there won't be no shutting down of any critical channels. In fact, those channels they think to shut down or even shut down are going to get bigger in the end. And make no mistake about it, if they shut down my YouTube channel, I'll put extra effort into making a bigger channel elsewhere. So no problem, no problem. Whatever they want to do, no problem. I'm going to still focus on what I got to do. And that's a good way, I think, to lead into this BBC program. Again, I'm proud of this program. It makes clear where the BBC stands. They are not just propagandists. They are criminally responsible for covering up the crimes of 9/11 and protecting those directly responsible. I look forward to the day where executives within the BBC and other such institutions face justice for real, because the amount of people who have died as a result of the propaganda from these lying, cheating bastards, we can't even count it. So this isn't about producing programs for television. This is about facilitating mass murder. And ain't a world without that kind of shit going to be a much more beautiful place to be. I look forward to it immensely. And I thank everyone for your support once again, especially if they're looking to shut me down. I please encourage you to go to Patreon, give what you can. This provides independence to not just me, but other producers. When we can rely on people directly who appreciate our work to support us directly with no real middleman, although Patreon does have some issues, for now they seem to be pretty legit. And if we continue to support each other directly, we will win. And I say once again, the powers that be are shitting themselves, because we do indeed have the most powerful weapon of all, and we shall not sacrifice it for anything. And I don't care, I hear this all the time. One last point, all the time I hear people who are otherwise aware complaining, basically, about how nobody cares. I tell my friends and family, none of them want to know, they just want to watch football, blah, 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 blah. Stop focusing on these people. Please. Be aware of the fact that never in human history have so many human beings been coming into consciousness at one time. This is happening right now, and it is immensely powerful. And the one last task that really remains for us is to find a way to meaningfully come together, which, by the way, I actually have a plan for that. Delayed as it is, and it will be launched this year. So I'll be talking more specifically about that, but I ask and urge all of you who are aware to stop getting depressed and stop getting disenfranchised and stop feeling dissuaded and discouraged. There are ever-growing numbers of people who are joining the ranks of human men and women who are conscious, aware, awake, and steady and committed to the truth. Ever-increasing numbers, unprecedented numbers. Stop focusing on those who are not. Don't worry about them. God love them. They'll come around. Don't worry. They're waiting for some leadership by example. So be part of that leadership that actually sets the stage, which those on the stage have honor and integrity. And by leading that way, the masses, including your loved ones, your friends and family, they'll come around. God love them. Don't worry about that. Let's be realistically optimistic, because this world is indeed what we make of it, and if we want a better world, then we shall make it so.